Well, today in Donald Trump doing something that would otherwise sink any other presidential campaign, apparently he fired Khloe Kardashian from the Celebrity Apprentice because she wasn't hot enough. This is not the reason he initially supplied. He said, "I hate people who drive under the influence. I really do. When you told me that Kardashian had received a DUI, I lost a little respect for you. If I had known you were missing time away from the task because of a DUI, you would have never been on the show." But according to people who worked on the show, that is not why he dumped her from it. He called her a fat piglet and the ugly Kardashian, saying, oh, these are what the people said. He basically just wanted to get rid of her, an editor in the show recalled. He called her a piglet. The editor said that Trump asked, "What is this? We can't even get the hot one?" in reference to Kardashian's sister Kim. A second source at The Apprentice confirmed the incident, using similar words to describe what Trump said about the Kardashians. He said, "Why don't we fire Khloe? She's a fat piglet. Why did we get the ugly Kardashian?" A third source, another editor, recalled the firing as being notable because of how personal Trump made it. When they fired her, it wasn't on merit, the editor said. It was on him not liking her. The editor said that Trump went to the staff and asked, "What's the reason we can get her off the show?" Also surfacing today were some comments he made on the Howard Stern show in 2004 regarding Lindsay Lohan. Let's have a listen.
I'll bet eventually you trade her in for Lindsay Lohan, this Melania.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan, Howard?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
I'm not into freckles, but you know the red hair thing I like. I like her on the cover of Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah, there's something cool about her.
A little Ann Margaret thing going on.
Her name is very cool too. It's a great name. You know, you need a name. I'll tell you what. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Call him Bill Smith.
Go ahead.
Is he a movie star?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay. He was born with one of the greatest names ever. You need the name. Lindsay Lohan's sort of a good name.
Yeah.
Now, does the father wreck? Does that bother you a little bit?
Well, I'm just thinking Howard Stern, man. I beat the odds with that name.
Yeah,
but Howard...
Oh, no, you did beat the odds.
Yes.
You really beat the odds.
Howard feels that the father being a wreck is a good thing.
Yes. Yeah, oh, yeah, because, first of all, if the father's a wreck, like the way he is...
Right.
You imagine the sex with this troubled
Yeah,
teen?
you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women...
Yes.
You know, deeply, deeply troubled...
Right.
They're always the best in bed.
Ooh.
Okay. So I've got conflicting thoughts on these two stories. And again, here I might be causing a little bit of controversy, but the Lindsay Lohan talk, I did not mind as much. It's the Howard Stern show. They're talking about having sex with a celebrity. You remember, Donald Trump's a clown. He's just another celebrity. At that point, nobody's taking him seriously. He's not running for president. And it's a goofball celebrity talking about wanting to have sex with another goofball celebrity.
He's one of the few goofball celebrities who come on and talk about sex that frankly.
Right? Yeah, another unsolicited, like how he's always talking about, oh, Rosie O'Donnell is fat, you know, just jabbing at celebrities for no good reason,
right,
to get his name out there.
To get his name out there.
Right, but this is sex talk, which is, you know, where if you can get a celebrity to talk about sex, like it's a win. Right?
Yeah. And so now there's a huge disparity in age there that creeps people out, and I get that part, obviously, right? And I like the just two little sides there that, oh, it's the name. So you got his name used to be Drumpf, and they changed it to Trump, so part of maybe the reason, or at least his family's name. And I like how he agrees with Howard Stern, like, oh, you beat the odds with your name. I mean,
yeah.
Right. I don't know that Howard Stern's a bad name at all, but it's a Jewish name. That's and right. So you beat the, oh, yeah, oh, boy, you beat the odds. I mean, how did you make it, right? And, all right, but those are minor things, I guess, right, in the scope of Trump. To me, the really important thing is the Khloe Kardashian one, his opinion on her looks changed whether she won or not. He judged her in a different context, not on her merits, but on her looks. To me, that is the totally unacceptable thing. It's one thing to be a guy and say, hey, I think she's hot, and a woman to think, I think he's hot. It's another thing for that to affect your decision in any kind of career. And in The Apprentice, it might seem goofy and stuff, but that matters to their career. Every single episode that they're on, they get a lot more exposure and they make more money. So he affected her career in some small way, or maybe even a large way on primetime television, by making that decision based on her looks.
I don't think. I think you're actually going a little easy on him. I agree with you on the Lindsay Lohan thing. But on Khloe, because she's a Kardashian. she's fine. Like, I don't need to worry. I'm not going to spend a second worrying about Khloe Kardashian, who is also, it seems to me, strong enough and tough enough to where she doesn't even care about this either. But like, we know, especially in the context of everything else that Trump said, he's done that to actual people who aren't celebrities on television shows.
Yeah, that's the bigger
I mean,
problem.
that's what he does, is that he has judged people and stopped careers and stopped the progression of careers because that person didn't turn him on enough, because she wasn't hot enough for him to show his, you know, the guys he's trying to make deals with. He thinks that's what matters in business. He thinks that's a crucial part of business, and that's why he fired her. I'm relieved that it's Khloe Kardashian, and she at least has the capability of fighting back and punching back if she feels like it.
She has. She's said that she learned nothing on that show and hated it there.
Good for her. I like Khloe.
Well, when it comes to the girls and that whole conversation with guys, that's not the first time I've heard that. Not from me.
The Lohan side or the
Lohan
Kardashian side?
The Lohan side of how guys talk about girls that have daddy issues, that have different type of issues. I've heard that before, either in joking around with other guys or just kind of being in different groups and like hearing guys speak about that. So when I heard it, I was like, okay, that's not the first time. But obviously back then he didn't know he was running for president. In regards to Khloe, I never watched Celebrity Apprentice, not even once. So I don't even really, I know certain people came from it, but it just wasn't my type of show. I'm like, oh, people are running around. But I disagree with one point when you're saying that Donald Trump is talking about celebrities to get his name out there. His name's been out there for, 25, 30 years now. He doesn't need to get his name out there.
He did.
That's
He absolutely did.
Well,
Like, he just
but
wanted
the show,
to feed
the
off
show
of their
was already,
celebrity.
well, the show was already a hit.
He loves it.
His name's already out there. What I'm saying is that's his personality. That's truly him. So when he apologizes about saying stuff or getting caught saying things, I don't believe that at all, because I believe
I
that's
see.
totally him. That is his personality. That is him coming out. The whole Howard Stern thing, I mean, everybody knows Howard Stern baits people and gets you to come out and say those things that you may have been thinking, but you may not say out loud. And it's almost on the same sentiment, and follow me, it's the same sentiment that when Larry David wrote Seinfeld, and when Friends became extremely popular, it was all those things that we always kind of think about, but we never say out loud. So you're watching stuff in front of you where it's saying the things that I thought, we all think certain things, but we have the discipline and the know-how to say, you know what, that's not right, that's wrong, you shouldn't say that, or you shouldn't say this. And this is just one of those cases where he doesn't have a filter, and it just comes out however he wants it to come out, and that's his personality.
Yeah, I think
whether
you're
if
right.
it's, shitting on somebody on set somewhere, just talking about people for no reason, that's just him. And that's the people that a lot of people want for president, which I don't get why, but...
Yeah.
He, it's funny because the Lindsay Lohan conversation, that's a lot closer to locker room talk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually in the realm of now. What makes it super uncool is what you said, is the age difference. And you can imagine getting some. You imagine, like, did you mention Larry David? Right?
Yeah.
You get Larry David in there. Larry David would be like, "Hey man, I don't know. Like, Lindsay Lohan wouldn't spend a second looking at me. So I don't know." Right? You could turn that into making fun of yourself a little bit if you have any skill at all, while still getting into the conversation that Howard wants. Lindsay Lohan's daddy issues, to use that term, are well known. It turns out in that conversation, one person in that conversation has larger daddy issues than Lindsay Lohan, and it's Donald Trump. And those daddy issues may end up screwing over the entire country.
Yeah, he inherited all this money from his daddy. His daddy bailed him out at every turn, and he's deeply insecure. It appears
Deeply insecure.
Yeah.
That he'll never be the businessman his father was.
right. I mean, of course, I'm doing a little pop psychology here, but his dad was always disappointed in him. He was a schmuck that kept
That's because
losing
he's a
money.
disappointing person.
Yeah, and so I think that's the issues. But okay, that's all us guys trying to excuse it. But what do you think, Kim?
I mean, as a woman, when I hear men talk like that, like, oh, and I know men, I know a B-list celebrity who's like this, which is he only likes wounded birds. He likes women that are battered and weak and have social anxiety or insecurity. It shows that you're a manipulative, weak, controlling little asshole. You can't bother to have a woman who can think for herself or be strong or have emotional security or psychological health. It shows what kind of man you are.
Yeah.
So that's a great point, because it might be locker room talk and you might say other people say it, but it's another insight into Donald Trump's personality, which is I've got to find the vulnerable so that I could take advantage of it.
Yeah, totally.
It reminds me a little bit of Trump University. Who's on hard times and desperately needs some fake elixir that I'm going to sell them, some snake oil that I'm going to sell them. Oh, come and take a picture with my cutout cardboard and I'm going to charge you $10,000, $35,000. They would tell the recruiters at Trump University, just take as much as you can. And one recruiter was like, I can't. They're going to have to go into debt and they don't have the money. They're like, just take it anyway. And so now when you say it, Kim, I thought, oh, that's true. He's looking for a wounded bird. And that's what he does with his whole life. So when he hears about Lindsay Lohan, he's like, oh, yes, someone who's vulnerable. That's Donald Trump time. Together we can change the media, make it more representative of you and not the powerful. Come join us, make a difference. TYTnetwork.com/join.